Welcome to Goldboys Live, presented by Pickett Sports. Sleeper picks, doing a little NBA. We'll mix in some baseball. Josh is back. Brian, boys, what's going on? Josh, you were off yesterday, so I guess I'll just ask you what I asked the other guys yesterday, and that is, has Miami changed your mind? Has Game 2 changed your mind? Where do you stand here with this series?
I would say no because I immediately bet Nuggets -1.5 at +120 as soon as that game ended in the series for them to win by more than by at least 2 games. Obviously, winning it 4-2. There's also some fun stuff that I played before that game, which was like Denver in terms of like figuring out the exact order, just stuff like that. So I was already kind of just like still like great, better odds to bet Denver, to be honest.
I'm a little shook.
Are
Wait,
you?
you laid a game and a half
Yeah,
in the series? Jeez. So
yeah,
you thinking they're going to win 2 out of 3 in Miami and hold serve in Denver?
yes.
I'm off it. You might be right. There's reasons for why you'd be right, and I would have agreed with you Sunday night when they're up 15 that this might be a sweep. I can't do it anymore. I have my bets in on the Nuggets. I'm not adding anymore. I can't do it. I really can't. I can't do it anymore. I had the Celtics when they were down 3-0, and I thought I was going to cash that game 7. I'm not, it's like when you touch the stove and you burn your hand, then you touch the stove for whatever reason again and you burn your hand. I'm not touching the stove anymore. I'm just
Then you
done doing
punch the stove. That's what you gotta do. You gotta punch the stove.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
the 3-pointers, every call, the not getting the fouls when Bam does all these moving screens, the flopping, it all goes Miami's way. And I've had it. I've absolutely had it.
Yeah.
So I'm not playing sides. I'll play player props. I'll still bet the games.
Yeah.
I'm sort of off it here. You can talk me into this idea that Miami's going to steal the series or at least get to a game 7. I think I look at it this way. 3 out of the next 4 are in Miami. If Miami just wins 2 of them, they at least have a game 7 where, hey, I know it's in Denver. Denver's better. They're favored. That's a good scenario for Denver. But, man, a game 7, anything can happen. And Miami's just got to win 2 out of the 3 at home. If they win all 3 at home, we don't even get to a game 7. Miami wins it in 6.
Yeah.
I know maybe getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, go ahead.
If I'm not betting Denver any further. Like, this is how I was doing. I already had my bet in before game 2 that Joker was going to be the MVP plus the Nuggets in 5. I got that at 2-1. So I hit that before game 2, assuming they were going to win game 2. Obviously that didn't work, but to be honest, like, I was a little worried that he weren't going to win one as well. So they did now, and maybe I get my 3 wins in a row. But
Yeah.
I knew the whole time I was going to hedge one more time in terms of if things didn't go right in game 2, or whatever happened, I was still able to play certain things like the order of operation here moving forward, where Denver wins 1 of 2 in Miami. Any order of this, Denver wins 1 of 2 in Miami and then wins 2 in a row. I win that, right? And that was a little bit of a hedge on the original. Like, okay, if it doesn't go 5, then okay, here's a way to get it to go 6 essentially, and still make some pretty good profit at like 9-1 on your money there. So that was always the game plan for me. And then now, like you're saying here, Will, like, I'm free to just slam Gabe Vincent props and like have fun when I think certain guys are due for a good game. And I'm banking on a lot of bounce back stuff. I hit Strus. I didn't hit him to hit 4 threes, but I got him at not over 8.5 points, and hit that and was
You
very
have a
happy.
knack for that. You did that last series with Grant Williams. You said 4.5 and you hit 4 threes. So
Yeah.
maybe
Just wait for those guys. And I mean, you could do that with Jamal, but I'm actually doing it with MPJ in this one, where like I think the odds for him to hit 3 threes went back down enough. He scores more on the road. He's playing 6 more minutes on the road. There was all this stuff that just made me go, oh, okay. Like, all the odds are in his favor for this, and I do think he's gonna bounce back, shooting at least 9 to 10 threes once again.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of that yesterday too. We're just talking about the only thing Michael Porter Jr. is, man, he just looked lost. Like, it was weird. Like, I'm all for the bounce back. I was on him last game, so I'm all for it. But man, he just had some plays where you scratch your head and you're thinking, you just can't be doing that stuff. So I think it was funny that we not to harp on the whole show yesterday, but a lot of gambling Twitter was on Michael Porter Jr. and I saw a lot of people tweeting like, why isn't he playing? Oh my gosh, how are you benching Michael Porter Jr. in this spot? And I was watching it with my hard-earned money on him, and even I was going, I fucking get it. I was like, he looked like trash. Like, it's so.
And it's partly a sort of just like on top of the bounce back, like the odds were terrible for him to hit 3 in the last game, and I was like, I'm not chasing that when it's it could not happen. So I was happy to stay away, but I also like if you guys like, I mean, we were talking about this at like plus 1800, where you could have gotten before the series started for Joker to score 50 plus PRA in every single game, and now he's obviously 2 for 2. It's down to plus 500. But it's kind of like, all right, well, if he's going to also be dropping 35 a night at least, then like, yeah, bank 50 PRA at this point and lock it in for as sort of like a set price for each of the rest of the games, because it's at like minus 120 for him to get 51, right?
How do you think this series goes? If you have it mapped out in your head, like, do you think Denver just wins the next 3? Like, who do you think wins game 3?
No, I think Miami wins one of the next 2.
Any idea which one you'd pick, or does
the beautiful part is I don't have to, but I would go game 4. I honestly, I'm literally like waffling because I see it could go either way in terms of like which game are the Heat going to shoot 46% from 3,
right?
Game 3 or game 4.
Apparently, it could be
which is not a bad scenario for Denver too. I mean, if Denver can get a split here, hey, you're right back on serve. You win game 5 at home, and then you got 2 chances to close out. If Denver can get 2 out of the next 3, they're in great shape. So Miami has home court.
It's the same odds to hit if they, if you want to pick the exact order of how it's going to go. It's the same odds for it to go Denver wins 3 or Denver wins game 4, and then they win the next 2, right? So that's kind of like, I like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just want to answer some people in the chat talking about Dinger Tuesday. So I wanted to plug that we do have a Dinger Tuesday on Gold Boys Network at 5 p.m. today with DJ and Eli. I believe who else is Paranoid Base on it. I think he's on it, and some other some good minds, Nick Larson. So there is an MLB show. We're going to cover MLB after this. I just wanted to kind of preface that from the chat. But I like that you mentioned Nikola Jokic, because I actually, we talked about yesterday, but the odds have dropped. What are your thoughts here, Josh? Because I actually think you're the Denver guy here. I think I'm going to buy the dip. I think the one prop I was looking at, and I was waiting because it did drop a little bit. What do you think Nikola Jokic looks like on the rebounding side of things? Because his 11.5 rebounds is playable. It's minus 128, and he is 11 and 10, but he's averaging 20 rebound chances a game. And I just think it's one of those things where in game 1, his line was 14.5. And the thing that I'm getting a Jokic that's going to play 40 minutes and 11.5 line, I feel like it's one of those ones where I might have to just take it and live with the results, because he's going to be playing. I don't know what his deal is with the rebounding, but it's been down. But a lot of it has to do with the hot shooting, and if that is a regression, there's going to be more rebounding to go around. And I think I might sell myself in on Jokic over 11.5 rebounds for game 3.
I'm actually starting to talk myself into the Heat specifically winning game 3 and being pretty hot, and that actually does scare me away a bit more from Nikola's rebounds. I haven't been thinking about those as hard. I haven't been looking at why he isn't getting them, to be honest. Like, have you noticed anything in terms of like why all of a sudden he's not even getting the defensive rebounds every single time?
So that's what I was saying to
I guess Dan's pulling him away a bit.
Yeah, right? But as I was saying to show yesterday, is there's sometimes too where they're letting guys like Michael Porter or Jamal Murray grab those easy rebounds at the rim to make the break, but also all season long it hasn't been broken with Jokic running the break. So it's weird to think
that's partly why it's like bam, shoot, and then they're happy with him taking 8 to 15 footers, because they're like, oh, okay, as long as we pull Nikola away from it. And that's why Kevin Love is out there for another 22 minutes, by the way. Like, on top of being a really good rebounder. Remember when he was like getting 15 boards a night in point his career? On top of that, like, he shot 9 threes, made 2 of them, but he was supposed to shoot 9, regardless of how many of them he made, so they could pull Nikola away from the basket on that side. Because if he's the one starting the break, the other team is in way bigger trouble, like that time that he body slammed Cody Zeller on a break and then hit the layup.
Yeah, if you look at the Cody Zeller's advanced numbers this series, it's wild. He's getting minutes, but that's a whole other can of worms. But the stat I didn't bring up yesterday was, so in games 1 and 2 combined, Nikola Jokic, they track deferred rebound chances, so rebounds they could have gotten but they elected not to. In 2 games, he's deferred 6 of them, which is like three per game, which is way higher than like he's usually under 1. So he's also doing the thing where he's deferring it to other people. And I wonder if there's like some positive regression in his rebounding too. They just lost a close game. I wonder if he, it's a little bit, a little bit more, because like rebounding is a hustle stat. So if you're telling me he's deferring rebounds, not like he's a stat chaser at all. I'm just saying, I wonder if he is going to be like something's going to click where he's going to be a little more aggressive on the board. That's a lot of rebounds.
I don't think you overthink it that much. I think you just realize the reason he's deferring those rebounds is because he's further away from them, because he's so far, he's being pulled from the basket, and that's the goal. That's Spo's goal. So with that in mind, like, I think he's going to continue. Why chase a rebound that your team already has? Like you said, he's not padding it. So what do you real quick like? What do you think about the assists? Because I am staying away from his rebounds. I got scared enough, and I think that's the game plan enough.
It's so weird because
like,
it's just one more from like last game. You know, it's 11.5. Like it's like if it was a high line, that's one thing. But yeah, I saw some people doing pairings with like 25 plus points with the under and assist. So I'm going to defer to Will because he's been a little quiet because I kind of took over a little bit with the rebounding talk. But do you think Miami keeps making him quote unquote a scorer, like that whole thing you're seeing? Do you think they're going to keep playing him straight up? Like I don't.
felt on purpose, yeah.
I do think you're probably better off just saying, you know what, we'll play off you a little bit, and we're just not going to let everybody get off, because when you make Jokic a scorer, he's the only one. He's just, you know what, nobody else is going to do anything. I'm going to do it, and I don't know if it's that simple because hey, why did it take this long for all these other teams to do it? So I do think, you know what, I don't know that that's like the magic answer, but I do think, you know, that's probably the way they would defer. Speaking of assists, Murray has 20 through 2 games.
Yeah.
Jokic is what did he have in the first
He only
game?
had 3. Yeah, he had 14 and 3.
He had 14 and he had 4 in the second game.
Oh, so he had 3
He had
and
one
went to
late,
4. Yeah, okay, yeah. It kept bouncing between 3 and 4.
Yeah, so Butler has 16, and Jokic had how many in the first game? 14?
14.
So Murray has
11 in the first half.
So Murray has a 2 assist lead, and he's 8-1 to lead the series in assists at Bet Rivers. Is that worth a shot?
Bad. If you believe that they're going to keep letting Jokic go 1-on-1, I think that's
either way 8-1.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny because I know. So I meant to break this up too. Game 1, Jokic was like the favorite, but I think it was like plus 500 for the assist leader. Like it was pretty close. After game 1, he was like minus 300 or something. Yeah, it was something crazy. And then just like last game, he's right back in the mix. So I think 8-1 for Murray is a great look, especially if he's, you know, feeding it inside to Jokic.
Yeah, I 100%. He's getting. It's just the 2-man game over and over and over and over. So at the very least, he's got the ball in his hand with the ability to make a decision. 8-1 is absolutely wonderful at this point with the lead right now. Like I like it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I also think it's one of those things where I'm with both sides. I think gambling Twitter, or like sports people in general, have just like take a take and they blow it up to the point where it's like almost not even believable. Obviously, the Heat aren't saying, hey, we want Jokic to score 40 points. That's not the point of it. But if I think the Heat would rather have him play one-on-one on Bam and shoot about 50% rather than those doubles where it's Aaron Gordon just doing the easiest little dunks at the rim. So I think that they're totally okay living the 50-50 looks over 100% looks. But I'm seeing people on Twitter being like, oh, yeah, sure. I'm sure Spo's saying we want him to drop 45 a night. I'm like, that's not the case.
And I don't think I agree with you. And I don't think that loss was on the Nuggets offense. I mean, the Nuggets played fine on offense. And that's a reason I do like the under. I think we talked about it yesterday. Slower paced game. Miami wants to slow the game down, keep it close, and steal it at the end. Denver played fine on offense. You gave up 116 points in a slow possession game. But Denver lost this game on defense. They did not play well on defense. They gave way too many threes, and they gave way too many makes. So the idea that this Denver, you know, the game plan on Jokic won it for Miami, I don't really buy that. I think it was more Miami's offense just shooting the hell out of the ball. And what's scary for Denver, Butler hasn't even gone nuclear here. Butler has not had one of these games where he just – and to be fair, we haven't seen that guy since the Milwaukee series, really since he sprained his ankle game 1 against the Knicks. So maybe that guy's not in there, but it's a little concerning for your Denver. Like, man, we're 1-1. We lost home court, and Butler hasn't really exploded yet. He does it in little spurts, but he doesn't really do it, for the whole game where he's dropping 45, 50 points. He's just been really inefficient. He hasn't been a great scorer. So I don't know. Anything else on this one?
Yeah, just to that point, like I mean, I'm sure there's a Jimmy game out there, and it's coming at some point in the form of like 35 and like 8 and 7 or something like that. But at the same time, like I do think on both sides, you can keep saying, taking things away from both games, going like, oh, if they improve this, they're good. And we saw the positive regression on offense. I was happy to take an over in this one. And I don't know necessarily where I'm leaning in the next one. I do think there's gonna be some pretty good shooting from the Heat coming back home. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I'm also not necessarily going to be betting Denver game to game anymore. I got my series prices in. So I think it's just about finding the last thing I'll say. I do love Kevin Love. I'm putting like a unit and a half on Kevin Love, 10.5 points in rebounds.
In 2023 too. It's wild, man. It's crazy.
So he's gotten 10.5, over 10.5 in like random games where he gets 9 minutes, 13 minutes in these playoffs. Like you look at his game log in these playoffs, he's so wildly efficient because he has one job: shoot a 3 when you have it and get a rebound. And so the 10.5, he's done 14 out of 20 times. in the 6 games that he didn't do it, he played he averaged 11 minutes a game. So if he gets 20 minutes, which I think we've established that like a plus 18 and 22 minutes, they have a better rebounding percentage when he's on the floor, et cetera, et cetera. Like no one's saying he needs to come in and be Kevin McHale. He needs to come in, do his job for 20 minutes and then get off the floor. And if he's in those 20 minutes, like I easily think he gets over 10.5 points of rebounds. So.
And he was plus 390 to hit 2 plus 3s on Sunday.
Yeah, it's down to like plus 167 or something like that.
Spoiling all the fun. All right, anything else on this game before we get out of here? Before we move on to baseball?
No, I think we covered a lot yesterday. I just wanted to kind of get Josh's thoughts on
your rebounding bet, and I didn't, and I totally left you hanging.
I wish we were playing tonight. I wish the game was tonight. I hate the extra day. Sometimes the extra day is convenient and it's nice to just get a break from it. Sometimes, like tonight, I'm in the mood for the game. I want to get game 3 underway. I don't
the one thing I will say, Josh, is like I was like looking at that rebounding bet too, where I wanted to maybe do like a 10 plus with like paired or something, but it's so crazy because 25 points for Jokic paired with that 10 plus rebounds. I was hoping to be like in the minus one, whatever. It's like minus 160. Like it's so funny where rebounds are so fine where you think like, oh, maybe I could just take 1 or 2 down, and then the juice just kills you. So
yeah, you have to go like Jokic double and a win.
Yeah, or something along those lines. So we'll look into that. But yeah, that's all I really had for on the leftover side of this game.
All right, I guess we'll transition to baseball. What do you guys like? What have you guys bet? We probably got like 10, 15 minutes left in the show. Yeah. What are you guys looking at today?
So to kind of just like to kick things off for people in the chat that asked about Dinger Tuesday. I don't usually do Dinger Tuesday. Do you guys partake in it as much?
No.
Or yeah, I did take one today. I did take Brian Reynolds for the Pirates against the A's. It's with Caprelin is on the mound. It's a good matchup, and I think the biggest thing to look at for this promo is I don't do it as often. I think it's also FanDuel will do this thing on Tuesdays where they'll nuke certain odds where it's like, oh yeah, you get $5 back for this promo, but like the guy will be like plus 260 and then the market is like plus 350 and it's like, all right, is it really worth it? No. But Reynolds for the Pirates is plus 420 on FanDuel, but the market is around 300. So that's how I kind of do it, where I look for those people that A, have a good matchup, but 2, the odds are actually worth it, where it's not like, oh, I'm going to bet insert big name like Freddie Freeman and the odds are just nuked because FanDuel knows they're going to be liable for those plays. So I did go with Reynolds here against the A's, which I know Will loves to fade the Oakland A's.
It's a lot of fun, and I think they had a 3-0 lead like middle of the game last night.
I thought they're gonna do it. I thought they're gonna do it.
So bad. The bullpen's so bad. They're just so bad, and they did have the 2 wins back to back against
the Braves.
Atlanta. Yeah, that one of them was Memorial Day. It was a tough spot for Atlanta, but the other one, they won like a 2-1 game or whatever. I don't think they've won a game since. I mean, they just lose every day. They lose every day. It's unbelievable, and I think people are sort of too cool for school. Hey, I don't want to lay 250. I don't want to lay 300. I don't want to lay 220. It's like they lose every day. I mean, they lose every day. I know it's not sexy. It's not going to blow up Twitter that you give out a minus 220 winner, but they lose. All they do is lose.
Well, I mean, you got to play that type of stuff to build a little bit of a bankroll. Like you don't want to just be. How are you guys finding? You know, I'm just saying the proverbial you guys. Like if you're one who doesn't enjoy betting something as crappy as that in terms of a minus 250, minus 180, minus 220, like if you don't want to bet that, how are you where are you finding these really solid wins to get your your bankroll up a little bit to increase your units, whatever, right? Like how else are you doing it? That's baseball.
Yeah. So. And then the same thing with if you're in the Discord or you follow me on the show with me and Ryan, I do a lot of the player performance double market, which is the only market I play is in baseball. So I was talking about beforehand, I've been doing a lot more of the alt strikeouts. So, for example, Saturday, Yuri Perez's line was 5.5. The over was minus 150, but 5 and a win against the A's was minus 105. And it was one of those things where he ended at 5 because that 0.5, there's no hooks. I hate when people say hooks for striker props. You either win or lose. Like, they're so fine. It's like 20% per 0.5. And everyone on Twitter was just kind of complaining. He didn't get the 6. It was heartbreaking. And you know what? The A's, they're so bad. They lost 11-1, but I didn't really have to sweat. He got my 5 strikeouts early, and then the rest was really nice. But
he should have had another one too because I didn't give it out, but I played I think it was the first inning. Will the A's have a hit?
Yeah,
it's either first or second, and I was watching.
Oh yeah, they took one away.
They took one away. He split the plate right at the knees. That was a brutal one, really brutal. Let me ask you guys this: what number would you need on Arias to hit 400 for the season? And it's 70-1 to him. And let's just say he can hit 400, which is obviously still unlikely.
He's 399 right now, right?
399. He was 376 a few days ago, and he's gone nuclear since. Yeah. What number would you need on him to win the MVP?
Oh, see,
Like
Acuna's
65,
so
70 to
good.
1.
Yeah, see, that's the issue. It's less about him. It's more about what Acuna's doing this year.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever. I mean, when's the last time somebody hit 400 though? If you hit 400,
Oh,
don't you kinda have
I'm
to
not,
hit-
I'm not debating that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's,
Yeah, I hit Acuna after we talked to Eli that one show, and he was coming back from being off for like a few games, and it was at plus 400. I was like, I think if he comes back and just has like a couple good weeks, this goes down to like plus 3, whatever. So yeah, I was happy with that. I don't know if I'm going to go back to that market specifically, but like at the number that you were talking about, 65, 70, I mean, probably goes up if he, like you said, he's coming off a hot streak. So if he has a bad week here or there, that might be another time to pounce if you see it go up even more than what you can find it at.
I mean, he can only win it if he hits 400, I would think. But if he does hit 400, there's going to be a lot of people like
60
oh my God,
to 1 on FanDuel right now.
Yeah, we'll probably need a little more, right?
Yeah, it's honestly, I think
like closer.
We talk about it all the time, but baseball is a sport where it's so interesting. Where Acuna, I'm looking at the stats here. At the odds, plus 115 for Acuna, and then on the other side, Ohtani is minus 150 now. It's just like, and I get it because they're clear favorites, but man, it's such a long sport.
Judge might have a broken toe too.
Yeah, like it's just such a long sport where I always feel like, I always just feel weird laying those kind of numbers for a sport that goes like the only thing I took it. I do have Strider, Cy Young at like 10 to 1, but even that was I was thinking like, oh, he's hot now, but. Like anything can happen. I mean, you sneeze wrong.
He's a good bet. He's a good bet. He's been healthy the last couple of years, so that's been good enough. But yeah, I think in baseball, like I'm leaning. I like to lean under team totals before I start thinking about like having to have a guy be healthy and consistent for 162 games. It's more likely that a team either it gets a nagging injury, a couple injuries, or by the game 100, it's like, well, we don't have a shot. So these last 60, we're not really trying, and that helps you out as well. It's still a sport that we can get that in. But I do have one more game for the day too. I am looking at the Blue Jays over the Stros, and I actually already hit it at like and I was looking at the first 5 as well because Gosman's starting. I think he's got I think he has a decent edge over Hunter Brown, who's starting for the Stros. But just a couple of things that I was liking in that game were potentially first 5, which was minus 153. But full game was minus 130 for the Blue Jays there. And Altuve is still questionable. I wasn't able to check right before the show, but he's questionable. If he comes back in, I imagine those things get juiced a bit in my favor. I don't know if I want to hit it again because I didn't even really wait to see how he was going to do to already hit both those. But I do like the Blue Jays tonight.
I actually gave that look. I think the only thing that's worrisome is the bullpen for the Blue Jays had to be used the whole game. But yeah, I think Kevin Gausman. I mean, he's my favorite. He's probably one of my favorite pitchers in the league. He's just no nonsense. He gives you 6-7 innings. He throws strikes. So I actually do lean that as well. I was actually giving that a look, which is funny. I was close to getting some action on that.
How about first 5 under there? 4.5. It's juiced at FanDuel 145. Bet Rivers, same sort of thing. First 5 under 4.5.
Yeah,
that's a good pitching matchup.
I wonder what. Yeah, I wonder what DraftKings has just for the Astros first 5. Let me check that.
Probably 1.5 or something.
Yeah. Because what do you think?
Yeah, no, I would ride with Gosman in that sense. Yeah, and I mean, dude's got like I think he's second now in K to walk percentage there.
Yeah, he's awesome to watch. Did you see his chart last week? I was on his player performance double last week, and I was watching it. And with when I do the player performance doubles, I like the 6 to win because for a guy that goes 6, there's just something so comforting about 1 per inning in that regard. And I wanted to ladder him to 8, but it was plus 170 for 8 and a win last week for a start. And I was like, that's just like not enough juice. That was texting Will because we were on the show. He had 5 straight the first 5 batters were all swinging strikes. And I was like, damn, I should have went to 12. I was like, you ever like talk yourself out because of value, and then you're watching it and you're like, I'm an idiot. Like he was on last week. So yeah.
I do.
The first 5 for the Astros, it's 1.5 minus 110.
Anything you guys like division wise? There's some big favorites here. I'll just go through them. Rays are minus 250. Yankees are 4 to 1. I'll just start with the AL East. Rays minus 250. Yanks 4 to 1. Jays plus 850. Orioles 10 to 1. Red Sox 70 to 1. I'll go Central here. Minnesota's a big favorite, minus 375. Twins are plus 425. Tigers 20 to 1. White Sox 15 to 1. AL West, Houston minus 200. You could still get Texas plus 175. Seattle 15 to 1. Angels are 15 to 1. Anything jump out to you guys there?
I mean, it sounds lame, but like Texas is in the lead, and man, they're putting up 7 runs a game
with no DeGrom too.
Yeah, like I mean, it's just one of those things where they're doing away with all this analytics and pitching and stuff. They're just like, screw it, we'll score 8 runs. Like like they're just they're blasting the cover with the ball.
So Texas plus 175 is a bet for you or no?
So I have them before the season, so I wouldn't add to it, but I like the. I mean, they're still in the lead.
You had the division before the season?
Yeah, I had a free bet. It was like plus 800. It was something crazy. It was only $10, but I like to use my free bets for futures. So I did a spaces with some guys from Goldboys, and that's what I was saying. I was like, you know what, like it was honestly, funny enough, one of my reasoning was because I thought their pitching would be great with Perez and all those other guys, but I'll take the offense. Like
you did the incorrect math to get the right answer.
I'll take that offense. That offense is wild to watch.
And they missed a bunch of time with Seager and DeGrom hasn't pitched in forever. DeGrom never pitches, we know that. But
it's a garbage. Yeah. No, I load that man these days. But the I was saying with Eli like a week or two ago, like I'd like the Stros to come back. I think they had just gotten Christian Javier back after like a game or two. Yeah. So like I was liking where they were at that moment, and it's just sort of stayed exactly where it's been. I think they even picked up a game the Rangers did since we were talking about that. If they're still plus money, I'm starting to get suckered into it. I feel like I've been pulled into these bets before where I'm like, oh, the Hawks are up 2 games on the Heat in the Southeast or whatever. And then I'm like, dipshit, what did you think was going to happen or whatever, right? Or the Celtics and the 76ers. Like basically the NBA division bets dicked me. I just got them wrong last year. I got the 1 seed right, but everything else was wrong. So like it's the same concept here for me.
What about Rangers minus 137? I agree with that. I feel like Houston will eventually catch them, but I'm not. Yeah. I don't know. Rangers minus 137 tonight. Is that worth a bet?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, people. Like I've always said that on the show, but yesterday I saw people with Perez saying, "Oh my gosh, Cardinals, Rangers, whatever it is, they're only minus 130. There's something fishy about it." And then they came out and won. So I think they're a team that they're not getting the value that maybe they should, because yesterday was Wainwright on the mound, and I was like, "What is this, 2012? Like why is he priced that way?" So I do think there's some people that aren't getting the prices they shouldn't.
And I have Dane Dunning going in a couple lineups tonight as well. So
yeah, he's been great.
Yeah. I mean, if he can get through like basically just the first like 4 guys on this Cardinals squad, like I feel pretty good about it. So I think it is like market incorrection, to be honest, and people still not believing in this Rangers team because they still don't even believe Marcus Semion's good for some reason.
Yeah. No.
Who wins the NL Central?
I didn't put anything on that either.
That is a horrible division.
So
I see it Caesars. They have updated season win totals. Milwaukee's at 86. How is Milwaukee going to get to 87 wins?
They won't. Like, here's the thing. If you're in the MLB, you know what? I found this as a weird secret if you're listening. Apparently, you have to know how to hit lefties. And the Brewers were not aware of that because they can't do anything against left-handed pitching. So
Brewers minus 145, Cardinals plus 325, Pirates plus 650. This is Bet Rivers. I'm sure the price is very always shopped around.
Plus 650.
Cubs plus 650. The Reds 25 to 1. I don't hate a Reds bet. I'd like a little more, obviously, but
just
that's interesting to me only because I don't have it on top of my head, but I'm pretty sure the Brewers are still like minus 25 in run differential, which I look at more than record because the Pirates had the half game ahead, but they have positive run score, which is good.
Yeah,
and they've done this without Cruz is still hurt, right? Cruz has been out a long time. Or is he back?
No, he's still out. But the NL East, what are the Braves right now?
Minus 700.
Damn it! They're only 3 games up on the Marlins, and they're the only team in the division with a plus differential, and it's plus 63. Which is definitely best in the NL. So
books aren't dumb. Books aren't.
That's a bucket, but like it's been a bucket, obviously. What the Pirates plus 650? I would consider that for a minute. I'm gonna go look at that a little bit further because like it's more just about how much I hate everybody else.
Now we have a group chat, so we can text on that too. Because I'll shop the lines using Pickett Sports, one of our sponsors.
Pickett Sports,
always great to use. So some people in the chat too is I wanted to kind of say one of the plays because I was kind of hinting at it earlier. I forgot I never said it. I'm doing it again with the A's. We talk about teams that aren't being priced correctly. I think some pitchers aren't being priced correctly. I took Mitch Keller, 6 strikeouts and a win for the Pirates today, and it was minus 118. And Mitch Keller has 7 strikeouts in all but 2 starts this year.
He's been good.
He's coming off 2 bad starts on the road, but he's returning home, which has been great. And I just feel like I don't know if people are spooked, like the odds makers about that, or in terms of 2 bad starts, but this A's offense can't hit, and they have a 27% strikeout rate against righties. Like it was one of those things where I think sometimes it's weird to be on chalk in the MLB, but I saw the minus 115 for the 6-0 win or whatever when I woke up, and I sat there. I didn't want to play it, and then I did my whole run through the board, and I was like, how do I not play that? Like it was just so. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I just don't see a Caprilin versus Keller matchup going any other way because.
You're trying to say Caprigliani, aren't you?
What?
You're trying to say Caprigliani?
Caprigliani, whatever you say.
Yeah,
I never know. I don't watch enough A's games, man. I'm sorry. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, you're good. I live out near there, like whatever.
Oh, okay.
But the idea of getting chalk like that, I'm fine with it. I will say I've been literally just blindly following Alan on our Discord with his plays. If you have a chance, I know that I'm just throwing that out there for. Hopefully, if you are on the Discord, you can just go ahead and make sure that you follow along with him. But like I have, and it's been pretty awesome in terms of a lot of just sort of like first first pitch results for a lot of players. Like it's wild how well he's doing at these.
And then so people in the chat, everyone wants to talk dingers, which is so funny. But that's the late show at 5. I'll plug it again. But if everyone wants to be a DJ, I'm on vacation, non-legal state, so. I had my friend that is quote unquote helping me out with, placing bets, and we cooked up a 3-leg parlay, which for DGen action. So I did take Reynolds to go yard, Kyle Schwarber in June, and Mookie Betts in LA. Great weather down there for that game. So I did take that. If you want to like a 3-leg parlay, I don't do parlays that often. This is probably the first one I've ever placed my entire life. But in my head, I'm thinking I'm going to be at a bar later. And there's going to be sports all over the TVs, so I could just see what happens. Yeah, so I do think the last thing we're going to talk about before we head it out is I wanted your opinion on this, especially because I don't really get to talk baseball on the show often, but I haven't placed it yet, but it's plus 115. But I wanted to see what angle you guys thought was better. Today, the Washington Nationals play the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Are you aware how good the Nationals are against left-handed pitching? It's wild. They're hitting over 300 at home against lefties. They're like a legit team against lefties. And it's Henry on the mound for the Diamondbacks. He's coming off a great start, but he has 2 horrible road starts this year. And I think it was plus 125. It's down to plus 115. But I want to take the Nationals over 2.5 runs in the first 5 innings. I'm not sure if you had any thoughts on that. The only reason I asked is because his over 2.5 earned runs is minus 150, but you can get the first 5 for the team for the Nationals at 2.5, or first 7 at 3.5, both at plus 115. So do you think it's worth taking the 7, Josh, and hoping that like Henry kind of falters in the 6th inning where he gets tired, or do you just take the first 5 and hope they get to him early?
Yeah, I mean he's not making it 6 that often, is he?
No. Yeah. Last week was I think it was one of those outliers, and I actually like to attack pitchers that I don't think are that strong after their great outings. He had like a uncharacteristic good outing last game where he went 7 innings, no runs.
So yeah, you might be getting a little bit of value there. Like I don't know if you need to go all the way to 7 like that though.
Yeah. Well, like my thing is a lot of times for a guy like this, it's only gone 6 innings. I think he's only gone into the 6 3 times this year.
Yeah.
It's plus 125 or plus 115 now, but his earned runs is minus 150. So it's kind of like the books in a way.
If they're leaving him in, he's gonna get shelled at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is that, like I did it yesterday with Joey Wentz, rather than taking his earned run, I just took the Phillies at better odds. Yeah. But his earned run was 2.5 at minus 170. So I think it's one of those things where I think the Nationals offense is in a good spot tonight.
Yeah, if you like that, yeah, I'm with it. I think he's getting a little bit overvalued here. I don't believe in Tommy Henry too, especially if some of these expected numbers I'm just now looking at too. I think you can feel pretty good. To me, like 85 degrees and hot as balls in DC today. So I don't know that he's going to pitch at all into the 6th. I would agree with that.
I think it's like I like taking offenses after a day off. So Nationals are off yesterday. I think they're getting a little I was surprised it was like that much. I think anything over plus money for 2.5. I think they're going to get to them. Like, they actually hit lefties really well.
Yeah.
I am betting CFL right now. Montreal money line -120. It's going up. Ottawa's quarterback is hurt. Somebody just texted me. Somebody who's a pro bettor said Ottawa's quarterback is hurt. It's probably going to be a 3 or 4 point line moving. Some of these books, wow, it's just moving in front of me. 155, 160. So if you can find Montreal and you get them at Bet Rivers, play Sugar House 130 on the money line. It's a good bet. Probably have a nice.
I have an issue with Bet Rivers because I got limited from my last
Doesn't everyone?
Account. Yeah, I know, but like I had one clean Bet Rivers account.
Not a sponsor, so we can.
And then it was my last Canby Books that was not limited. Then I got limited, so I stopped using it. And there's still a lot of the funds in there because I use like the risk-free 1,000 in there, whatever it is. And then so I stopped using them because I couldn't get more than like $28 a bet. And they emailed me today that was like in all caps, like you have money. And then like, when you click on it, it's like an ellipses and it's like still left in your account. And I was like, you know what? I would have withdrawn now. I was like, you can't do that shit. I was so angry.
No, money down.
Like once I because I thought it was like a bet or something like, oh, you got like this thing, and then I'm gonna go when I get back to PA. I'm taking all the money out. That angered me. I'm over with them.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, Josh, appreciate you guys. Fun show. We'll be back tomorrow. Game 3 of the finals finally. So we'll break down that. More baseball, more a little bit of everything. So good luck with all your plays. Thank you to Pick It. Thank you to Sleeper Picks. We will be back tomorrow. See you then.